In this video, I'm sharing all the secrets of how I was able to fully replace my income in just 30 days by freelancing. Now, you can use these exact same methods I'm gonna walk you through, even if you are completely a beginner. So don't disqualify yourself from being a freelancer, even if you've never done this before. Yes, you can take these exact same steps and implement them starting today. If you haven't met me, I'm Abbey Ashley. I've grown a community of over 130,000 online freelancers and virtual assistants. I would love to have you join my community. You can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/community to join us. We have jobs posted every single day inside of this group. I promise it's the most supportive group you're gonna find on the internet. I want to share with you first a little bit of my personal backstory, how I discovered freelancing, what type of freelancer I was, and how I was able to replace my income so quickly. I discovered freelancing as a new mom. I had a 1-year-old and actually just found out that I was pregnant with my second child. Yes, they were very, very close in age. And honestly, we were living in a basement apartment at the time with one window. We literally had to cut our pizzas in half because we had such a small oven that an entire pizza wouldn't fit inside of it. And we were struggling financially. My husband had to drive 2 hours back and forth from the job that he had, and we were barely able to pay the bills. We were struggling as it was, and I knew that adding another kid into the mix meant that we were going to struggle even more, and something had to change. That's when a friend suggested that I become a virtual assistant. Now, I had never even heard of virtual assistants, but when I started scouring the internet, I realized, oh my gosh, I think I could do this. One of the things that I love about virtual assistants is that you can start with the skills that you literally already have. And so I started with skills like data entry and email management, right? Answering customer service emails. I knew how to schedule and post on my own social media, so I scheduled posts for other people as well. So really these general admin skills is what I started with, and it was such an easy way to get started. Now, I had to get myself out there, right? I didn't really have a choice because I had this ticking time bomb inside of me growing, and I knew that I had to replace my income quick. There wasn't really time to be scared, so I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna be bold and I'm gonna start talking to people. I started telling my friends and family what I was doing. Even though they weren't small business owners, almost every single one of them knew a small business owner. So I thought I might as well just get the word out. Let me just tell everyone I know about this new business that I've started. I also went to live networking events, just events that were already happening in my area that were filled with my ideal client. My ideal client was just a small business owner that needed help, that was overwhelmed. Hello, those people are everywhere, right? And so I went to these live networking events and incredible things happened. People actually wanted my services. Yes, they wanted to hire me. Even though I had no experience, no background in this industry, I was there, I was available, I met them in person and shook their hand, and I was able to sign my very first client just 1 week after getting started. Since I was so focused on marketing, I was able to replace my income in just 30 days, but then the clients kept coming. So I ended up replacing my husband's income in 90 days and had a team of 4 subcontractors working with me. Now, my story is not unique. I've helped over 6,000 individuals take this same process to replace their income with the skills they already have. In fact, check out some of the stories of people who have posted in our community just this week who have gotten similar wins as I have just by starting their own virtual assistant business, deciding to be bold and take the leap, starting with the skills they already had. Now, before I go into those 7 steps to replace your income as a freelancer, a beginning freelancer, let me preface with this. I believe it is so important to have a step-by-step plan, a guide, if you will, right? Anytime I've had huge leaps and successes in my own business, scaling from that little basement apartment to leading a team of over 10 team members, running a multi-million-dollar business that's been featured in Forbes and Inc. magazine, every step of the way, I've had a course or a mentor or some kind of system I was following. It's so important to take steps. It's so important to have some kind of a mentor along with you in the journey. That's why you're here today, right? I also want to preface that these 7 steps are specifically how I became a virtual assistant. Now, you can apply these same steps to any type of freelancer role, but I think that virtual assistants is so incredible because so much can fall underneath it, right? Maybe you can do general admin, but you also want to dabble in social media or copywriting, or you can build websites, right? All of that can fall under a virtual assistant umbrella. Really, you get to decide what services you're going to offer under that umbrella and which ones you aren't. So that's why I'm a huge fan of starting with virtual assistants. And then eventually, if you find a high-end service, you get really great at copywriting or Pinterest management or Facebook ads, you can later progress and decide to be a freelancer with one of those other titles, right? It all goes under this freelancing umbrella. But personally, I think virtual assistants is great as a starting point if you are a beginner. There are so many services that you can offer as a general virtual assistant, but some of them include answering customer service emails, posting on social media on behalf of the business owner, writing or blogging, invoicing, calendar management, research, and appointment setting. With all that out of the way, let's go into the 7 steps I use to replace my income as a beginning freelancer. Step number 1, choose your services. Now, I went ahead and listed a ton of services in this video that you can get started with, but I actually have a blog post that I wrote. I'm going to link to it in the description of this video that goes over 101 different services that you can offer as a beginning freelancer or virtual assistant. Now, know that these services could change. When I first started my virtual assistant business, I had appointment setting phone calls as one of my services. And I quickly realized with a 1-year-old in the background that calling people on the phone, reminding them of their appointments, wasn't something I wanted to continue doing. So I just simply changed my services. Just note that everything is a draft 1. You can change your mind later on almost any part of your business. Action over perfection is one of the things we like to say here. Step number 2 is to choose your rate and design packages. Now, I'm a huge fan of starting just with a simple hourly rate. Let's not make this too complex. So for instance, you could start your rate at $30 an hour, and you could have a 10, a 20, or a 40-hour per month package. That means that your packages would be $300, $600, or $1,200 per month. Now, a 40-hour package might seem like a lot, but that's just 10 hours a week. And there are so many business owners that have enough work to be able to fill that time. I really recommend not having your packages roll over an hour. So if people don't use their hours within the month, don't make those hours roll over. They're use it or lose it. They hired you for a reason, so make sure you're keeping them up to date with the hours that you're using and how many they have left for the month. I use a tool called Toggle for this. It's a really great time tracker. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I make no money by recommending them. It's just a really great tool. All right, step number 3 is to decide how much time you can commit to the business, right? You have your hourly rate, and if you know, okay, I can only commit 10 hours per week to the business, then your income may be capped at that $1,200 for the month, right? You'll need one of your very largest package, and then that's all that you can physically do. But remember, that's not all that you can physically do if you choose to hire a team of subcontractors. And this is the beauty of virtual assistants and freelancing. I have students who literally are like, I just want to work 10 hours, 5 hours a week and make some money while I'm homeschooling my kids. I have students who have gone on to make $20,000, $30,000, $80,000 a month because they've built out a full-blown agency. The beauty of this is that you get to decide. Step number 4, you're going to choose a name for your business. Guys, don't overcomplicate this. I was able to sell out my services with the name Ashley Assistants. Literally, it's my last name. Like, so easy. I think sometimes people get stuck on this because they think the name has to be perfect. And just like everything else, you literally can change it later. If you want an entire video on how to choose your business name, I will link to it below. Step number 5 is to decide on your processes. I highly recommend before you really start telling people about your business, you know what you're gonna do when they inquire. That could be setting up a simple discovery call process, right? You have a little form that you send them with information about their business. You get on a call, you talk about how you work, you talk about their business, and then you have them sign a contract and an invoice to get started. Really knowing how you're going to send that, having those processes in place, having a contract ready is going to be really, really important before you get your first client. So go ahead and decide on those factors. Step number 6 is to set up those legalities. If you don't already have a contract, I would highly recommend getting one. We have one included in my signature course, the Savvy system, but if you can't afford the whole package, that's fine. I get it. So many of you guys tell me that you start with just these free videos. If you're going to invest in one thing, I would recommend this contract. It's called the VA Toolbox. It's not just a contract. It's literally made for virtual assistants and freelancers. If you have questions about the contract, you literally have the ability to email our lawyer who created it so you can really understand your contract. Guys, protect yourself legally. It's so important. You can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/toolbox to purchase that if that's something you're interested in. Step number 7 is to really set some goals. And And I'm gonna add to this, if you're able to find some kind of an accountability partner. Guys, it's so important not to do this journey alone. So whether it's a friend that's a business owner, someone you meet at one of those networking events, a spouse, right? Have somebody who you're committing your goals to. Write out, dream a little. Where would you like to be in 12 months? Would you like to pay off debt? Would you like to take your family on a trip to Disney World? Would you like to quit your job or buy a house? Whenever you define these goals, it's gonna help keep you going even when it gets hard, because spoiler alert, entrepreneurship is hard. There are going to be people that tell you no. You're going to hit roadblocks, guys. But if you have these goals, if you know your why, you know what you're aiming for, right? It's going to help keep you going even when things get difficult. And then lastly, it's time to start marketing. One of my favorite things. I love marketing. I love telling the world about the things that I'm passionate about. And guys, sometimes we get scared because we think it's selling, right? But I would like to encourage you that literally, if you believe in what you're selling, it's not selling at all. It's just sharing, right? It's just sharing something you're excited about. I tell people all the time about the new toothpaste that I'm using or about the coffee that I love. So why do we get so afraid to tell people about another thing that we're passionate about? The fact that you offer virtual assistant or freelancing services to small business owners. Just start telling people. Now, I have created an entire 60-minute training that goes through my favorite places to find clients. So if you want to know the exact steps to how I marketed my business in order to sell out my services and get to those $10,000 months, you can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/BBO. Now, I want to hear from you. What step are you on in this journey? Are you still kind of deciding on your packages and your pricing? Are you out there starting to market or somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments where you're at and what you need next to get started. And if you have a question for me, I am going to go and answer those questions for you. It's my passion to help people live their freedom life. So let me do that by dropping your questions below so I can answer them. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Now, something I like to do at the end of my videos, if you've been with me long enough, you know sometimes we like to have some fun and beatbox it out. Virtual assistants, baby! Woo!